In November 1872, the two-masted merchant ship, the Mary Celeste, pushed out of New York Harbor, bound for Genoa, Italy. Captain Benjamin Briggs was a respected mariner, with high standing in his profession. He was confident enough to bring his wife and infant daughter along for the crossing, backed by a crew of experienced Frisian sailors. The ship's cargo was a remarkably high-risk payload, exactly 1,701 barrels of volatile industrial alcohol. For 18 days, the voyage was routine. This final log entry from November 25th shows the ship operating normally near the Azores. Every available record prior to that entry describes an orderly voyage, commanded by a man who avoided unnecessary risks. On December 4th, the crew of the Canadian brigantine Di Gratia spotted the ship sailing erratically here, midway between the Azores and Portugal. A boarding party found the ship entirely deserted. Despite the absence of the crew, their personal belongings and valuables remained undisturbed. The ship's physical state pointed to a sudden, disorderly exit. The sails hung in rags, a cargo hatch stood open, and its only lifeboat was missing. The navigational equipment had been dismantled. The binnacle housing was shifted, and its compass lay abandoned with broken glass. A sounding rod used to check the bilge was found discarded on the deck. Below, the hold contained about 3.5 feet of water, a notable amount, but not enough to sink a vessel of this size. The ship was well provisioned and seaworthy. Abandoning a sound vessel in the middle of the Atlantic defies the basic logic of maritime survival. The Mary Celeste was sailed to Gibraltar, where it was impounded by a Vice Admiralty court for salvage hearings. The investigation was led by Frederick Solly Flood, an attorney general who approached the case with immediate suspicion. Flood argued that a crime had been committed. He presented a sword found on the ship and cuts on the bow as proof of a murderous, drunken mutiny. Scientific analysis later proved his evidence was meaningless. The stains on the sword were rust, and the marks on the bow were the result of the natural action of the sea on the ship's timbers. Flood's rush to judgment permanently colored the public's perception of the crew, derailing the search for a factual explanation for decades. We have to look back at the cargo hold to find a more credible scenario. When the ship reached its destination, 9 of the 1,701 barrels were discovered empty. Seeping alcohol from the barrels creates invisible, highly combustible ethanol vapor. A stray spark ignites it, causing a massive pressure wave explosion beneath the deck. This specific blast produces a spectacular flame, but leaves the hold completely uncharred and intact. Fearing an imminent detonation, Captain Briggs likely ordered a temporary evacuation. The crew moved into the yawl, tethered to the ship by a tow line to wait for the fumes to clear. But as the weather shifted, the ship caught the wind. The sudden surge in momentum snapped the tow line, leaving the crew stranded in a small boat while the Mary Celeste sailed away. This sequence of events explains the physical contradictions found on the ship: the open hatches, the missing boat, and the untouched cargo. Following the hearings, the ship was considered cursed. She was eventually wrecked off the coast of Haiti in 1885 as part of an attempted insurance fraud. The lack of a definitive legal resolution allowed fiction writers to fill the gaps in the record. In 1884, Arthur Conan Doyle published a short story that introduced fabricated details, like a half-eaten breakfast, forever rebranding the vessel as the Marie Celeste. Later film adaptations further distorted the truth, turning a tragic accident into a staple of sensationalist horror. The Mary Celeste became a global ghost story because myth is often more enduring than a senseless tragedy. While modern science points toward the vapor explosion, it remains a theory based on circumstantial evidence. The ocean swallowed the lifeboat, the ship's papers, and the 10 people on board, effectively deleting the primary record of the event. The Mary Celeste remains a reminder that despite our forensic advances, the ocean ultimately keeps its secrets.